we also treasure the fiery enthusiasm of our Shabbat tefillot. Supporting one another in our prayers, we experience together an outpouring of soul, transporting us into the embrace of God. Of course, it was not always so. For most of our history, delegates came to the biennial to debate and deliberate, but not to pray. At our biennials, as in many of our congregations, prayer was often boring and lifeless. But then, more than a dozen years ago, we began a movement-wide conversation about worship. Focusing our attention on Friday evening, we undertook to create services that were heartfelt, inspiring, and community-building. And we succeeded. The glory of Reform Judaism has always been its ability to reinvent itself, to meet new spiritual situations, and we did exactly that. In a mere handful of years, our Erev Shabbat services were radically transformed, changing from somber to joyful and from passive to engaging. This revolution has not come easily. Our rabbis and cantors have worked hard to avoid the faddish and the trendy. At the same time, they have been relentlessly creative, developing forms of worship that are both contemporary and traditional. And the result is that on Erev Shabbat, our synagogues are often overflowing and our worship is often a sustained celebration and song. Many of our members have opened themselves for the first time to the music, poetry, and passion of heartfelt prayer. But as proud as we are of this dramatic transformation, now is the time to step back and to see what remains undone. When we undertook to revive Erev Shabbat worship, our intention was not to focus solely on a single hour of Friday night prayer. Erev Shabbat was to be the key, opening the door to a discussion of the Shabbat day in all its dimensions. Such a discussion is long overdue. The late Erev Shabbat service was introduced by Isaac Mayer Wise in 1869. Because Jews worked on Saturday, it literally saved Shabbat for the Jewish community. No other Reform innovation has had such long-lasting success, and this service will remain at the very heart of our Shabbat celebration. But in the last half-century, working patterns have changed. Not everyone works on Saturday now, and Jews, more than ever before, crave spiritual sustenance and meaningful ritual. With members returning to the synagogue on Friday nights, we had hoped that some of them would also be drawn to our Shabbat morning prayer and to a serious conversation about the meaning of Shabbat. But this has not happened. And we all know one reason why that is so: the character of the Shabbat morning service. With the morning worship appropriated by the bar and bat mitzvah families, our members who come to pray with the community often sit in the back of the sanctuary and feel like interlopers in their own congregation. On Erev Shabbat, we invite our members in, but on Shabbat morning, we drive them away. On Friday night, we entice them with exuberant prayer and a community of celebration and song. But on Shabbat morning, we leave them turned off and disappointed.